another episode of Python Pandas tutorial. In the last episode, we had discussed about what is Python Pandas, and we had discussed these following topics. We had discussed that Python Pandas is basically a module in Python which is not pre-built. We have to install it later. After the basic Python is installed, we have to install it using the pip command, pip install pandas. And then we found out that this module is a very powerful module which is used for data analysis and data sciences. And why is it so powerful? Because it offers us some of the very flexible data structures which is required for easy manipulation and analysis of data. Those data structures which are available inside Python Pandas are of two kinds. One is known as data series, or often it is also called as series, and another is data frame. So there are two data structures which we are going to discuss about. One is data series and data frame. So basically, these two data structures define what Pandas is capable of doing. Um, First of all, we are going to discuss about data series. Today's topic is going to be introduction to data series. This data series introduction will continue for a couple of more videos probably, but it will be a very short video today. We won't go for a long period video like the last one. We are going to straight away discuss about what is data series and how data series is operated on and how to work with data series. So first of all, data series, right? What is data series? Data series, it has, the definition of data series is, it is a homogeneous, one-dimensional, array-like data structures. Okay? So there are three things to look at. One is homogeneous, the second one is one-dimensional, the third one is array-like. These are the three things which we have to look at. What does the word homogeneous mean? Homogeneous means that all the data which is stored inside this data structure, data series, has to be of similar data type. As we had shown in the example, the last time we had done this example, and we had shown that when we when we are having this kind of a program and we are running it, we find that uh, the data structures has all integer values, and that's why the d type is shown as int64, right? So it is homogeneous in nature. Data series is homogeneous in nature, which means that it has all data of similar data type. Second is, it is one dimensional. One dimensional means that it does not have different rows and columns as we define for multidimensional arrays or multidimensional lists, as we have studied in Python. So it is one dimensional, so it is only one dimension, and that means only one row or one column can exist in the array-like data structure. So this is array-like data structure. That means it can hold more than one, multiple values it can hold, right? So as we had seen in this example, it can hold multiple values. It is capable of holding multiple values, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So 10, 5 values it is capable of holding. Some of the properties which will discuss about how to work with data series in detail. But before that, we need to talk about some of the properties. So as we had discussed here, one property is homogeneous, obviously. The second property is that the size of the data series is fixed, or in computer terms we call it immutable. Okay, so size is fixed or immutable. That means once we have created a data series, We cannot increase the length or decrease the length like Python lists, like the Python lists, the property which Python list provides. So, so the size of data series is fixed. So if you are giving 10 values to a data series, then it cannot delete a value from it. It cannot increase more values into it. But the third property shows that the data in the series is mutable. That is, the value of the data can be changed. That is, the value of the data is not fixed. It is like if I want to change the data of whatever is there inside this series, we can change it. It can be added, it can be subtracted, it can be changed. The values can be changed, but no more extra data can be added to the series, or no more data can be deleted from the series. So series is a fixed data type, where data structure where the size is fixed. That means that the number of elements inside the series remains the same. Although the values can be updated and values can be changed, the uh, the size doesn't change. Okay, so if we start working with series, that this is enough information we require to start working with series. As we had discussed earlier, for working with series, we need to work with basically what we're doing. When we are working with series, we are basically saying that we have to work with the module pandas, right? And we had already told that this module is not previously present in the Python uh, Python structure, Python base, which is provided to us. So when we install it, we have to basically import the module before working with it. So we have imported the module pandas and we have given an alias name of PD, right? So we are for calling of the series, for making a series object, we need to call the constructor of the series. Okay, now what is a constructor? When we are talking about object-oriented programming, you know that there are classes and objects, and for each class, a constructor is used to create the object for the class. So series is basically one such class inside the Python module for which we are creating an object. Okay, so if you want to follow about the classes and objects and what objects are, what constructors are, I will create another separate series for classes and objects, and then we can discuss about the object-oriented programming concepts there. Okay, but here just understand that to call or to create a Python pandas series, we just have to call a function called series, and we have to provide the details inside the series. Okay, now once we are doing that, when we are doing that, as we had shown, that it can print a data type like this, right? So today we are going to discuss about how many ways are there to create a series. Okay, so firstly, we can create an empty series. Okay, when we are creating an empty series, what basically we are doing is we are just writing E is equal to, suppose we are naming the empty series as E, PD dot series, and we are done. We do not need to provide any kind of data. Okay, so what basically we want to do with this series? Okay, what are the things which can go inside this pair of parentheses? We have to know that. For knowing that, we need to know what is the syntax for Python pandas series. So for pandas series, the syntax is pandas dot series with a capital S. Inside the pair of parentheses, we will provide some data. So what are we going to provide? We have to first provide, obviously we have to provide the data. Then we can provide the index. I'll explain all of these things. Then there is dtype and there is copy. So what copy does is, it has a feature of copying the values from other data series, and it can create a copy of its own. So we'll discuss about it later. Okay, first we need to discuss about these three topics: data, index, and dtype. These are the three things which we are going to talk about primarily in this today's topic. Okay. uh, so firstly, so all these things, first of all, these all uh, values, these all parameters inside the Python Pandas series is optional. We may or may not provide it. Okay. If we do not provide any of these, okay, if we do not provide any of these, then obviously what would happen is it will create an empty series, and the empty series would look like this. Let's make it a bit, uh, it should look good, right? Let's, oh, sorry, my mistake. Yeah. So this is an empty series where you see that the series is shown with no data inside it. You do not find any kind of data in the series, right? And it says that the D type is float 64. So what is D type? D type is basically nothing, but it shows what is the data type of the series. What is the data type of the values inside the series? By default, series takes the data type as float 64. That's why it shows D type is equal to float 64. Now, uh, this is what an empty series looks like. But the series can hold, as we have talked about, data. The data can be provided using the following methods. Okay? What are the following methods with which we can provide the data? Number one is a list. We can provide a Python list, and it will take the data from the list, as we had seen in the last example. Number two is a Python dictionary. It can take data from Python dictionary as well. We'll see how to do it. Number three is a NumPy array, one dimension. A one-dimensional NumPy array. Okay. And the number four is scalar value. So we'll discuss about all the four topics. These are the four ways we can initialize or provide data to a series. Okay. So we'll discuss about all these four. Okay. Let's just copy this and put it in the put it here. So data can be provided using the following methods: Python list, Python dictionary, NumPy array, and scalar value. So we'll see one by one how to do it. So first, let us initialize using a Python list. Okay. So it's very simple. The last example we gave is the same. Suppose we are giving 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay. I'm giving the same example. And then we are writing L series is equal to pd dot series, and then we provide L. Okay. Then we provide L. And now if we run the program, we'll see, okay, the empty series is getting printed because I've not given the print statement for L series. And once we print the L series, we'll find that this is the output. The empty series is shown as the series data type. And now for the other series, we see that series using list. Let us see what is the output. Check empty series and then the series using list. We'll find that this is the case. Okay, so this is what we are finding. Very nice and simple. Okay, now you'll ask me that, you might ask me, why do we need to do this? We can do the same things using a list. Why do we need a series for that? So one example which we provided last day is that we can do some things which are very easy to do, like for doing the sum we can just write as dot sum. One thing which I didn't tell you last day, because it was not that we had not got into details of Python series, is that here for a Python list, when we are writing a Python list or when we are printing a Python list, we just print the values of the list, right? Like the last day we showed, we are just printing the values of the list. But here, when you see, we are printing not only the values, but also the index values, right? These index values are basically called as labels, okay? These labels define on which row the data is present, okay? So when we are doing that, let's just delete the empty series for now. It looks better. We'll have some focus. Okay. So when we are dealing with that, we can see that we had seen in the syntax that we can provide something known as index. So we'll try doing that. And what do we see when we try doing that? So index is basically taking another list as its parameter. Okay. And what it does is we can provide the indexes which we want, or the labels which we want for our values. Like, you know that by default the index values for a list is 0. It's starting from 0 and it goes up to the number of elements minus 1. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here in this case there are 5 elements. So the default index values would be 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, as we can see here. 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. But Python Pandas, and specifically series, gives you the liberty and the flexibility of having your own interpretation for labels and indexes. So we can provide any kind of index we want. We can provide 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, and that's 104, because we need 5 elements, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we do that and if we run the program now, let's see what's the magic is all. You see, now the previous time we found that the index values were 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and now you can see that the index values has changed to 100, 101, 102, 103 and 104. Similarly, it is not it is not compulsory that all the index values has to be integers. It can be numbers, it can be string values as well. Like if you can provide A, B, C, D and E. Okay, you see now the values of the index becomes A, B, C, D and E. Now you might be asking, so what, like in Python lists, when we used to have Python list and we wanted to print a specific element out of a Python list, like if we want to print, suppose 30, we want to print from the list L. So how will we print the value? We have to write print L, and then within third bracket, we have to provide the index values, right? We provided the index value for 30, and we know that the index value starts from 0. So 0, 1 and 2. So 2 was the index value for 30. And now if you run this, you know that you will get the output as 30, right? Because the index value is 2, and at the position of 2 in the list, we have the value 30. We can do the same thing with Python series as well, Pandas series as well. So what we need to do is basically we just need to change it to the name of the series, and then we have to provide the index value for the position we want to find. We want to find the position of 30. Now for which position in index, for the index values in the series, in which position does 30 exist? The 30 exists in C, right? The third, the first, second, and third value, and the first, second, third index is C. So the third index will correspond to the value 30. 30 is corresponding to the index value C. So for that, we need to provide the index value as, what do we need to provide? We need to provide C. Once we do that and we run it, we'll find that the output remains the same and we get 30 as our output, this time not from the list, but this time from series. Is it clear? Did I make myself clear? So I think this is